Rebellions are built on hope.
Sagrona Teema, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Radio Rebellion, a Star Wars podcast. I'm your host, Alberto Calderon. Over there is our co-host, LT1 Kenobi, and joining us, our special guest, Tony Figueroa, Collector Tony52. He's been here before. We're glad to have him back. Tony, how are you doing today?
Doing very, very well. Thank you guys for having me again. Very excited to be talking Star Wars, especially Andor Season 2. So, yeah, thank you guys for having me here.
Yeah, no problem. Always something when you're here, especially if Oti and you are together. I have to watch out. I gotta keep control of the conversation. But Oti, how are you doing?
It's been you bastard.
It's been a week since celebration. Have you recovered? How's everything going on over there?
Dude, I've been so freaking tired. Like all week. But I'm doing good. Like Tony and I do our Friday show every morning, and like I think this is the first time we've ever, like in the history of podcasting for the last like 8 years, been like, I'm too tired for this, and him being like, thank you, me too. And
yeah. No, it was great because I woke up, my alarm went off. Literally, you texted me a minute after that, and I was like, thank you. I was just dead.
Yeah. And
but you know what? This whole week I've been reflecting. Let's see. I'm pretty sure I'm going to Celebration next time.
Oh,
we'll
okay.
See. Fingers crossed. Let's see.
All right.
It's closer now, so.
You heard it here first. Talking about Celebration, Tony, we haven't had a chance to talk about your overall feelings as quickly as you can. Recap those 3 days of Star Wars Celebration last week.
I mean, I think it was awesome. I think Celebration always just finds a way to one-up itself and bring you new things. And to me, it's not even about, I mean, the big panels are obviously so great, but it's like the little things. It's like the toy reveals. It's like the figurines. It's like the random little interviews in between the big panels. Like, and I just really, my biggest thing is seeing the fans interact with all these like huge names and them being humbled by it, really. Sure. So it was great. Alan Tudyk, as always, just being Alan Tudyk. Return my calls.
He was by far our highlight of Celebration.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I mean, his interviews with him and Diego Luna are some of the greats, and it didn't disappoint last week. It was great getting them to talk about it once again. But
can I say something about Celebration quickly? There was something that came up in Celebration that seeing Andor, I kind of reflected on. How Diego Luna in person is such a goofball, but then he turns into Andor, who's like this super serious dude. And I was watching the episodes just thinking about that, like, wow, Diego Luna is so good because like none of his personality is oozing through this character.
No, but and actually a great another person who I think is like seeing Rosario Dawson just like be a nerd, be a literal nerd at Celebration, talking about watching the animated show, and then you see Ahsoka and you can tell she cares about the character, but she gets serious and like she's like she embodies it, right? But then she's this nerd in behind the scenes, right? Seeing all this stuff happening around her, and I see that with Diego too. Like he is such a goofball. And then you see him as Andor and you take him seriously from the get-go.
I mean, I know we get invested in all these characters and what they do and people hate them, all that stuff. It's same as those guys that you're mentioning now that Dennis Gao and Kyler Soler are out there doing interviews. They're exact opposite of Deidre and Cyril also. They're just having a blast with every interview. And it's great to see actors that we see as such serious characters and causing so much destruction and mayhem just be goofball, just be regular people having fun in this universe. So it's glad to see that. So to everyone that's joining us today, thanks for being here. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel so you don't miss any of our Andor recaps. We'll have some great guests coming in the next couple of weeks, or the new episodes when they drop, hopefully on Saturdays. If hit that thumbs up, like button, and comment down below if you're listening to us or watching us later on the replay. And thank you to everyone that's watching. Again, sorry, listening to the audio podcast. As we still love seeing all those ratings and reviews and those watches over there. So thank you to everyone. So, all right, let's go ahead. If you guys are ready, I'm not ready. Let's talk Star Wars and Star Wars on TV.
I am not your failure, Obi-Wan.
Star Wars on TV.
The revolution starts now.
Andor Season 2 is finally here after a 2.5 year break, more or less, with 3 episodes that drop. We're just calling it Arc 1. I'm sure people are going to have names for what this arc was. But before we dive into it, real quick, episode 1 year later, then Sagrona Teema, everyone, and Harvest. Oti, let's start with you real quick. Your initial thoughts in this new drop on Disney Plus of dropping all 3 episodes at once, a full arc. They say it's like watching a movie. Did you like, at least for the episodes that we got, did it make sense to do it this way? Would you have preferred, hey, let's just do the weekly drop?
I mean, I think it's gonna, but like, even if you think about season 1, it was sort of the same format. We just got it weekly, but like every 3 episodes were kind of an arc.
Sure.
And I honestly don't know if I have a preference. I like the whole weekly release because it's with us more.
Mm-hmm.
But having it told in this way makes you maybe appreciate the story a little bit more. I don't know. What I will say, my only issue with this is like it's long episodes.
Yeah.
They are almost an hour, all of them. And having it released at 9 p.m. is not awesome for someone like me who likes to go to bed early.
2 days after celebration, and we're trying to catch up on sleep.
Yeah, like even if it's like a 1 hour episode, just a 1 hour episode, 9 p.m. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna go to bed like after 10:30. 3 episodes, I'm not watching 3 episodes probably. So that's really my only issue. I watched the first one that morning or so. I don't know how I did it. I did not watch it when it dropped. I actually forgot it was releasing. But yeah, no, I'm fine with the format, I guess.
It's funny that we always, and by we, I just mean Star Wars fan in general, complain about Star Wars episodes not being long enough, not being an hour long. And now here we're, oh man, 3 1-hour episodes. I'm going to make time for this. But same thing. I watched 2 the first night. The second one I watched in my bed, almost falling asleep. And the third one, like, no, I'm watching this next morning. But I enjoyed that these 3, at least this first arc, dropped pretty close by, or I watched them pretty close together. I don't know if I would have enjoyed them as much as I did, even though to me, they were good, and we'll get into those. If I watched the first one and then had to wait a whole week, I would have been like, I don't know. It's not grabbing me.
So I'm glad that we got season 1.
Yeah, I know. If I think of the first arc, it's very similar. It's just a setup. This is where the world is right now, and then we'll jump into the story.
But that one we got all together, I think. That first one.
Maybe. I think we got at least 2. So. At least 2.
Yeah, 2 at least. Yeah, for sure.
Tony, how was it for you when you first heard the news that they were dropping those arcs in blogs, in 3-episode blogs? Did that surprise you? And now that they're here, how do you feel about it?
I mean, it was definitely surprising when I heard it, mostly because it was a new format, right, for Star Wars, and even for just Disney TV in general. Like, we haven't really seen these little blocks like this in any live action shows or the Marvels or anything. So it was definitely interesting, and knowing what that meant, right? Each arc taking place in 1 year in this 4-year gap that we're having, right? So it's interesting having seen them. I understand it, right? We're just seeing a little snippet of what's happening in these years. I am intrigued about the time jump in between. Yeah. I think that's really what's going to determine if the format is working for me. Because, 3 episodes, great. I love that. That's more for us to watch, right? But now when we go see episode 4 and seeing this time jump, it's going to be interesting. Okay, do we feel good about this, or are we still like, wait, like, do we need answers of some stuff that would happen in between? We know kind of where we leave off, but I don't know. That's really my only concern there.
Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting the 1 year jump. If it's something that there's a lot of open questions, and if they spend a whole episode kind of catching you up on what happened in that 1 year that we didn't see. But at the same time, maybe I'm remember it wrong. A lot of these stories were pretty close. Like there's nothing really open ended right now. I mean, you can think the wedding was going on with Mon Mothma and Tacoma. It's gonna be fun to talk about those two and everything that happened. But like we got everything.
Mm-hmm.
See now where the story goes with the next 3 a year later, but I think it'll work. Right now I trust this team, so we'll see how it goes. So let's go ahead. Like I mentioned to you guys before we started, just letting everyone out there know we won't go episode by episode. We'll go in the little 4 kind of stories that they told. Imperial meeting. We'll talk about the wedding in Chandrila, the Cassian stuff where he got stranded, and then we'll finish up with Biggs, Brasso, and everyone in that little planet just trying to live a happy home life. And I won't say it kind of reminds me of what's going on right now, but it kind of does remind me of what's going on right now. But let's start with...
How could it not?
Yeah,
I know, I'm joking. It's when we talked about this a while back, like when Star Wars and real world meshes together, it's like it's always been political, and sometimes even when you don't mean to make it so obvious, the real world makes it obvious. It's not like they're doing it on purpose.
To be fair, this is life imitating art because this was recorded like a year ago. So
yeah, 2.5 years.
This is the government being like, well, that's what we want to do. Oh my god!
They have someone inside Andor just from the government taking notes.
Did you guys? Yeah, you guys saw How I Met Your Mother. This is Barney being like, Luke Skywalker is the bad guy.
He's the bad guy. Yeah.
Oh, the one who doesn't want it to feel like real world government was Krennic. He didn't want any signal chat debacle. No one's getting word of what's going on here.
Nope.
If you're not here, no one knows what's going on. Tarkin, forget. He doesn't even know what's happening. This is us, right?
Krennic would be a better Secretary of Defense than Pete Hegseth. Yes, definitely. He wouldn't be a great one, but he'd be a better one.
Oh, man.
He wouldn't be good for the country, but he would be good at his job.
Okay, exactly.
So he's there in not the Pentagon. He's at the Malthine Divide, the little castle in the mountains over there. Krennic's base, meeting with other Imperials. Deidre's there. Partagaz is there. I wanted to get that scene between those 3 characters. We got it right off the bat. I'm surprised that here you go, episode 1. Here's Krennic. He's back. And we're talking about the Imperial Energy Project, right? The Emperor, he just wants to make sure clean energy for everyone. But we might have to kill half our population there because the spiders are so important for the calcite that we need for the shielding or for the reactor. But Tony just starting there with Krennic is back, meeting between the Imperials. I mean, politics in Star Wars, it's been a while since we've gotten those kind of board meeting scenes in Star Wars. Just initial reaction, what you thought about Krennic, Partagaz, then the talk with Deidre, trying to get her thoughts on everything that's going on.
I mean, I thought it was a great just introduction into this world again, like bringing us in. Like you said, it's a classic thing in Star Wars, all the way back to the first film, the meeting of all the people inside the room and Vader coming in and everybody just like, oh, damn, like, what are we going to do now? So this is Krennic being Krennic, right? He's like, okay, I'm in charge of this project. You know, he still doesn't know that Tarkin is going to take it away from his hands. So he's this diva, you know, he's running the show. So that's like, I really love that. You know, I love that introduction of him just being like, yep, no recordings, no paper trail. All the droids are getting wiped. Like, you don't speak to this to your mother, you know? And then, seeing Dedra just like come in from where we last saw her, where she was essentially defeated, right? And then kind of put in her place, and then she's like kind of coming back up, still ambivalent about things. She's still not sure about her path in this, even though it's kind of laid out before her, right? Essentially, Krennic, top dog, telling her like, I want you to be a part of this project. So I mean, I thought it was great. I love seeing Dedra like not sure about what she wants, even though we know that she's going to become a monster. Like you can just tell. And then this whole Gorman thing, like, you know, we know what they want. We know what this is all for, or where they're going with this. But again, just the Empire being the Empire. Yeah, you know, moving them to another planet would be interesting, but let's not think about that for now. Let's think about how we can literally destroy them.
We're gonna gouge mine the whole planet for this Calcai that they need. Ultimately, what they gotta go with the not PowerPoint presentation, but with their little
the
film.
propaganda video.
The propaganda film.
Video.
Again, something have we ever seen a film that shown that way in Star Wars, like as a projector
Never.
film? Like that was crazy. I love
changing the slides between each one.
Yeah.
And then the two guys that come out and do the propaganda. Oh, this is we've been behind everything you've heard. It's coming from us. This fake news that we're planting out there. So Oti, and just this Imperial meeting.
No, I love the Imperial. So this scene was cool. Like Tony said, kind of reminds me of that scene in New Hope. I just love to have Krennic back on my screen. So that made me very happy. He's so full of himself. He's such a little man with such little power, and he's so proud. He's like the Dwight Schrute of the Star Wars universe. So I love spending time with these incompetent people in the galaxy far, far away.
I love that he name dropped Tarkin, name dropped Yularen, and then he goes, "Well, I spoke with the Emperor yesterday." Similar to when Rogue One. We'll talk to the Emperor about it because I need to make sure the Emperor knows that I exist.
The Emperor sent him a letter at most.
It was delivered by droid or something. But I mean, if you've read The Glass Abyss, The Mace Windu, I don't know why Star Wars have now, not against, but I guess they love their spiders that weave special silk, because a big part of that book is these Hylian worm spiders, and the silk that they produce is very important for the commerce out there. Now we have the the Gorman spiders. With the Calcai that they need, either real Calcai or fake or whatever version there is, we need to get it from down there. And the people, they really don't like the Empire. They're very vocal about it. They go about things how they want. And that's when they bring these two guys who try to let's make a propaganda that they're similar to spiders, so we plan those stories. But like you mentioned before, or like we've been talking, like Deidre doesn't really like this approach. She's saying this is not going to work. I think we need to, I don't know if she meant plant some fake rebels down there or take Gorman rebels to start a revolution down there against the Empire, I guess, and then give them an excuse to come and attack. And I love when Krennic is like, if you're trying to hide your thoughts or you think you're being coy, it's not going to work. Like, I can read you. I know you have an idea, and I want you to tell me now. Don't wait on it. So I love that Krennic, even though he thinks more of himself than he really is in terms of his ladder in the Empire, he was able to read that from her. No, come on. Tell me what you're thinking, why this won't work. And which I love Partagas. I hope we keep getting more of him. It's that conversation with him and Deidre afterwards when they're walking back to the ISB office. Like, okay, you've been, like, you're on Krennic's good graces. So are you gonna take the job or not? I said, hey, I'm not too sure of it. I said, if he talked to you, you got the job. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. And then he also realizing what he says, humbling to know your position, because we thought that Partagas was high up, and I was like, no, dude, you're like down here, you're a middle manager at best. So that little
if Krennic is a middle manager, he's like the I don't know.
As assistant to the regional manager.
Yeah.
No, I think that's great. And again, showing this whole belief of hierarchy is the reason why the Empire, like, one fails at the most part. Is because there really isn't any real leadership. And people keep thinking, like, I'm the big boss, but then there's obviously a bigger boss, and then somebody else comes around. And I think that even with Dedra, like, she's understanding, like, these people are just like playing this game. Like, nobody actually like cares about this. They just want to one up themselves, right?
Yeah, she's still thinking about not Falcon. What's the name that she uses for
Axis?
She's still, oh no, Axis. I gotta deal with Axis. And Parker's like, dude, Axis is nothing. You failed. You spent too much time there. You've been given an opportunity. Take it and crush it and win it, and then you'll be back in good graces. So.
I love he says something. I don't remember the exact line, but I was something like, if you're gonna chase ghosts, you have to provide results.
Yeah,
you haven't shown anything. So,
someone that apparently showed results, Cyril, I guess, still working in Imperial acquisitions, no longer in fuel purity, but now he's doing the tour for the
he's
new
a
person.
tour guy,
He's a tour
not the
guy.
guy in the cubicle. Good for you, Cyril.
He's the onboarder for new employees.
Yeah. Oh man, Oti, that's your guy. You love how?
Oh, I adore him. He's my special boy. No,
and he still is such a special boy.
He's such a loser.
When he gets home and Deedra's like, oh, you're back with the little bags of groceries.
He's Maggie said it that in that first episode, he's such a twerp. I just loved catching up with him and seeing what he's doing, and seeing that he hasn't changed, seeing that he still has the same issues. But I was surprised to see that they were together, like, off the bat.
Yeah.
Man, that Ferrix, magical place. Magical place.
It brings so many people together.
That Rick's Road,
yeah,
where dreams are made.
But I do love that it's like he's trading in one abuser for another, essentially.
Of course. That's what
like, he's literally just like, okay, I'm not gonna go back to my mom's house. Let me go into my fascist girlfriend's house and cook for her and make sure that everything is ready for her.
Yeah.
It's
hey
so
man,
weird.
If Deidre was real, I would be her boy toy, just cooking for her.
I mean, we're not blaming him. We understand him.
We are behind him.
Yeah, I mean, from his point of view, he saved her. He's been infatuated with her from the first time she saw her. So if he has that opportunity, hey, good for him. I don't think it's gonna end well, but good for him.
Oh no, it's gonna end horribly. I'm not saying this is a good idea. I'm just saying I would do the same.
Oh, but yeah, it's something that we joked about it here during season 1. They made a point of it during Celebration that there was something going on between them, and now we see it straight up, like they're living together. That this is a thing. They've moved in. I'm guessing this is Deidre's apartment. It's a palace, and we'll get to the dinner scene. But just that little home life is great. Oh, we can postpone. Still afraid of. I mean, everyone introducing their girlfriend to their parents is always a big deal. So in that sense, I understand. But then going to Edie is even worse.
If Edie Karn was my mom, she would never meet.
Yeah, I would tell people my mother is dead. That was crazy. But again, showing this whole side of these people that we don't usually experience. Like you said, this is them. They're making fondue. They're literally making a fondue night to meet, her girlfriend's mom, and then like it's a whole thing. And oh my god, like I just loved it. I love it, and I also love Cyril's OCD around everything, right? Putting the little fork how it is and making sure that everything is all clean, and then Dedra just being like, "Shut up, sit down, eat." I love that moment when he's like, "Mom, you're dripping," and he's like, "It's fine."
So let's go straight to that dinner scene, which I can't believe we got a dinner scene in Star Wars. And to your point, Tony, something we've talked about in this show forever. It's how seeing the real life of Imperials or people away from the fight is something that's very intriguing and something we've always wanted to see. And now we've gone to the X. But I love that little scene again. Just so nervous to bring his mother in. First, Deidre practicing how to smile when she's trying to find which suit to go.
The
and then she just-
Luthen.
yeah, exactly. You gotta pick on a fake persona when you gotta
Right.
meet these people. And then that introduction, the way Edie still throws him under the bus, belittles him, calling him fragile. And you can
Mhm.
see him slowly. He's trying to keep it together, but slowly as that dinner from that, oh, you're dripping, to when he just goes and lays on the bed, just slowly see that needle turning.
Yeah.
It's awesome because we know that he's kind of a little twerp, but just that relationship between the two of them. But Oti, for you seeing that dinner scene before we get to Deidre and Edie's conversation, just how everything played
No,
out.
that's what I want to talk about. Skip.
Skip the rest.
All right. So I love first before we get to that how Cyril tried to get away from. Oh, you want spice tea? We don't have any. But I can go get it.
Yeah.
I'll
I
go.
just want to get out of here.
I just don't want to be here. All right. So
Oh,
let's-
to the store? You want me to go to the store? Okay, I'll leave.
I'll go. But no, I'll drink while you're having. But when she goes, when after he calls him delicate and brings in Uncle Harlow again, which what's going on with Uncle? Is he really an uncle, or is that what the name that she's using for her boy toy afterwards? But when she asks Deidre, oh, what about your home life or your parents? Oh, they were criminals. I was raised in an imperial kinderblock. It was great. It was perfect. Oh, just nothing fragile about that. It's like, oh
No.
my god.
Like somebody who can definitely take it and can survive this world that is more than just eating cake and having dinner parties.
Dedra is so not getting a redemption arc.
Oh no, dude, she's gone.
Cyril, though.
Maybe.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
All right, Otis, so let's go to you. Wanted to talk about when
Again, I love these two women for very different reasons. And Dedra being like, okay, enough is enough. Listen, bitch.
all it took was one conversation. It's not like
Yep.
they knew each other.
They are meeting each other for the first time. And she,
Right.
I can imagine she being like, okay, maybe Cyril's exaggerating, but no, just one dinner, and she's like, nope, I need to put this woman in her place right now. And I love how it's a negotiation. Again, Dedra and Cyril, they are the Dwight and Angela of the Star Wars universe. They're so freaking weird.
They really are. And I think what
In
again,
return,
going
he
back
will call once a month.
Visit
going
twice.
back to the whole Tormentor thing, like switching Torment into Tormentor. Now Dedra knows she's in control and she's being like, I have a plan. And I love that line when she's like, and I say plan like it's optional, but
Yeah.
it's really not. And I love that she's just like, hey, this is how it's gonna happen. And if you want to be a part of our life, deal with it.
And by the way, the whole thing with Uncle Harlow, which has been showing since the first season, and she being, and by the way, stop telling that story. I looked into his file. You don't want any connection to this person.
Yeah. That's like suddenly being like, my friend Jabba the Hutt, like you don't want people to know that sort of stuff. Not in Coruscant, at least.
I want a book now or something that tells me the story of Uncle Harlow. Who's
I
this
need.
guy?
I would
What's
love to
going
have
on?
that in Lego Uncle Harlow.
Lego. If he's not in Rebuild the Galaxy 2, I will riot.
Oh my
Show us
God.
Uncle Harlow, you cowards.
We need to meet Uncle
Brickhead's
Harlow.
Uncle Harlow.
Yeah, because she says, oh, his dad just one day woke up and left, didn't come back. If it wasn't for Uncle Harlow, where would we be? I don't know. He was really his uncle. I think
And
that's
Cyril was like, I wish I could be like my dad and just walk away.
just walk away. He tried.
Again, hey, I need to go get cigarettes at the store. I'll be right back.
By the way, imagine being Cyril's dad. Edie is your wife and Cyril is your son. Like, I'm so sorry. I understand why you left.
Yeah. Oh man, we're not giving the best props here to relationships, people we select as relationship material, leaving your kids and your family. Don't listen to us if you're
No.
trying to
No,
start a
don't.
relationship or a family. All right, so
Don't start a relationship with Edie Karn. That's all I'm saying.
Oh well, I'm surprised, and maybe I shouldn't be, but after watching season one, I kind of am how funny it was. Especially the first episode, there were a bunch of funny moments through it, especially with Cassian trying to take the ship. I'm surprised they started that way. Something that wasn't really funny, at least for the people seeing it, was this Alderanian or this Chandrilian wedding. I don't know why I put Alderan on my notes, but this Chandrilian wedding, we go to the Mothma estate. God damn, that woman has money. See that freaking, that's a palace. That's a place you want to hang out. But I love that we got to learn more about this Chandrilian history and tradition, just walking up the mountain the day before the wedding, the big party, and of course everything that went with the wedding and the dances. So I love that we got to see more about it. I believe we saw Chandrila for the first time in live action, so that's always fun. Tony, were you surprised when, oh, look who's here? And Luthen is there. At that moment, we have no idea why he's there. Is he just going to blow the whole thing open? Oh, no, I'm here with the worst person ever, with Skoldon. I got a surprise. It's a secret. See ya.
Yeah. I love that the wig is the giveaway. It's like if the wig is on, he's the character. He's not here as part of the rebellion. He's here to party. He's here to drink. But I love that also, seeing Vel too, right? Who we now know Mothma's cousin. She's part of this whole thing, and she's also like, why is he here?
Yeah.
Like, what's happening? And again, the double-sidedness of Mon Mothma, like you said, we know that she has all this money and everything, and we know she's putting it to a good cause, but that's a part of those nuances of these characters that Colma does kind of bring it up when he's like, oh, look at this party that you're having. This is kind of crazy, right? But then seeing that duality with her, like even walking around her own house where she's smiling to people and then suddenly you see her face and she wants to kill herself because she has no idea what's happening, and she's being put into this terrible position with her daughter to be able to fund the rebellion and to be able to actually do something good, but then she's also losing her daughter in the midst of this, and of course, I mean, just knowing that we have good old Perrin there to help her through all this.
Hey, hashtag justice for Perrin. Don't talk to my boy that way.
The first thing he says, oh, so where's your boyfriend at? Huh? Where your boyfriend at?
Oh, is he your boyfriend now?
Yeah.
Oh, he's single now, so I guess nothing is stopping you.
All right, he's getting divorced.
Dude, speaking of people who we shouldn't take relationship advice from, take Coma. Something's wrong there, so don't go to him. I mean, but I understand Perrin. If he's seen his wife the past year, at least in the show, always hanging out with their old pal from college. He's back all of a sudden, spends every weekend there. You learn that he's just broke up with his wife, and now he's at the wedding. It's like, hey, where's your boyfriend? Is it the perfect place to bring it up? Probably not.
No, but I love that
they're more with Perry in terms of fleshing out his character a little bit. He's not. I mean, he's still a jackass, but we're expanding a little bit.
But he's starting to grow on me and grow, I think, on Mon. I think Mon is starting to be like, okay, we can't just be this conflict all the time. And I love how everything ends with just Perrin looking at her like, this bitch. This bitch is dancing.
We'll go to the beach dance. I want to talk more also about Perrin and his speech, apart from his where's your boyfriend speech and Mon Mothma. Like, oh, who do you mean? Who are we talking now? Come on, you know who I'm talking about his speech to his daughter, his wedding speech. Okay, take Colma, like Tony mentioned, comes to this place, sees a big party, sees a huge mountain estate. Hey, I just moved 400,000 credits, or how many credits you told me to move because you were having money trouble. Freaking Devil's Cold on got what he wanted. I'm here losing my wife. I'm losing funding because the rebellion is making it difficult for investment. Your foundation is up and running. Like, I'm feeling undervalued. So what's going on?
Yeah.
A different side and something Mon Mothma wasn't expecting from her old friend.
No, and not because it would be one thing for him to be like, "Hey, I'm getting out of this. I'm cutting you off," but then being like, "Also, look at the people over there. I might go talk to them." Not a smart move, man.
Greed will make you do some crazy things, and I mean, it's also having had something and losing it, right? It's one thing if you have a character who doesn't have anything and he starts to kind of grow into this world, but Take Colma is losing his standing. He's losing the power, the little power that he had, or the semblance of power that he had. He's now losing, and he's like, okay, well, if you're not gonna help me get it back, somebody else will. And you know, I always think of like Benicio del Toro's character in Last Jedi, just being like, hey, some people buy for the rebels and some people sell to the Empire. You know, it's business. It's the world that we live in. You know, we have to figure it out. And obviously Take Colma is not a bad guy. Like, he's not like, I want the Empire to win, but he's clearly like, I'll be with whoever gets me power and gets me a standing.
I don't like Trump. I just like his economy.
How's
that going for you?
I don't like Trump, but
Wall Street executive. How's that going for you?
I didn't vote for the immigration. I voted for the price of eggs is too high, Yoti. We need to bring it down.
How is that going for you?
You know what? Take Colma should have invested in GameStop. That's all I'm saying.
Oh man. So yeah, poor Take Colma. Everything's going down for him. He sees Colden as someone who's climbing up in the social world over there. He's like, oh, I gotta spend more time with him. I gotta talk with him. Just be more like him. Ask and you get. And that's when Mothman like, oh crap. And of course, that's when we get the great conversation with Luthen. Before, I love Cleia. Cleia is becoming one of my favorite characters, kind of those secondary characters. I love her in the first season when I did my rewatch, and I love her here in the 2 episodes that we got her, especially her conversation with Cassian later on. But I love, like, when she's like, I told you we shouldn't be here. My comms suck. I gotta go back to the shop. And then she pulls out that freaking board and just starts connecting things. Come on, for people that love switches and buttons in Star Wars, they gotta be like losing their mind.
But also even like the old timiness of like grabbing connectors and putting them in for
it's 1977 future technology.
No, 100%. And I agree with you, Alberto. I love her as a character. I love that Luthen may be this badass, but she doesn't give a she doesn't care. She'll tell him how it is. She'll be like, I told you this was gonna happen, and you wanted to come to this party, and look where we are now.
Give me 1 second.
Because he loses it a little bit. Like, his patience sometimes is not the best. Like, oh, have you heard from Cassian? And she's like, I told you we wouldn't have comms. We're compromised out here. We can't call, so just relax. I'll deal with it when I can. I shouldn't even be here. So I love that she's that character that has to put him in his place in terms of calm down, I'll deal with it.
And her interaction with Vel too, it's really good, because Vel again is part of this rebellion, but we're still in the kind of sleeper cell version of this rebellion. Not all these people know each other. Not everybody knows who's doing what and who's involved with what. And I love that she knows, obviously, these people are the callers, right? The shot callers. And she's like, what are you guys doing here? Like, what's going on? Like, how can we? And we know she still has ties to it because of Cinta and, you know, having somebody there. And I just love that interaction of them, of her being like, hey, we're just here at a wedding. Let's have some fun. We're looking at single men. And then, you know, Vel looks at her like, yeah, I'd hit that.
It took me, I don't know what to think about that scene, because she said, Cleia, kind of, oh, we're just 2 single people enjoying the party, 2 single people looking at what's available. And then they stare at each other and Cinta kind of walks away. I took that, I don't know, is Cleia interested?
I think
and
so.
She's trying to keep
like,
her and Vel separated in season 1, so I don't know.
I think
It's a
she's
great
starting to
interaction.
realize there's more there, and she's being
Yeah.
like, okay, let me keep an eye on this. And even actually when she's about to leave and she tells Luthen like, hey, I'm leaving, I found the ride, I thought it was gonna be with I thought they were leaving together,
Okay.
you know.
Mm.
But then that didn't happen. So
Yeah. No, she had to wait and see someone else arrive. But I love
Ooh.
pairings. Yes, so awesome. Now she's there in 2 shows. The pre-wedding speech that Perrin gave his daughter, Leida, right? Which I'm sorry, Mon Mothma, she's trying. You're trying your best as a mother, but she just doesn't want anything to do with you. That scene was a bit heartbreaking when she's trying to stop the wedding and tell her, especially after comforting her early on when she had an argument with the little fiance, and she's like, I wish you were drunk. Like, I'm gonna do this. I don't care. It's tradition. She wants to go along with it. But I love the parent speech, which is, in reality, if you think about it, it kind of touches a little bit everyone's life. When it's like, things are gonna happen. It doesn't matter what you try. Things are gonna happen. You gotta roll along with it. And that kind of made me think about their marriage, him and Mon Mothma. Like, hey, we tried to make it work. Things happened. It didn't go as we planned, but we're doing the best that we can with it right now. But you gotta find joy. You gotta try to laugh. You gotta find joy in life, because the world is gonna try to bring you down and crumble you down. So if you find a little bit of joy, stick with it. So I love that they got a chance to speak a little bit there. Oti, how you feeling about pairing and maybe being a little different than what we saw in season 1?
I mean, let's see. It was just one speech,
It was,
but I like to, and I'm a parent defender, not a defender. I'm parent
believer.
I believe he has the chance to change. But I think it was a pretty speech, and being like, hey, there's a lot of distractions in life. The happy moments are few and far between, so enjoy them. Make sure you make the best out of them. I like it. Good for you, parent. Good for you.
Yeah.
But not just that, I really liked how he was like, the bad stuff will come whether you want it or not. It'll come to you. It'll happen. But the good stuff, you have to keep an eye. Like, if you don't if you don't move towards those happy moments, you're not going to get anywhere. And all you're going to have are these bad moments. So you do have to kind of put in the effort, which I do think kind of is why I think there is still a space for him and Mothma's relationship to get a little better, because he's kind of saying like, hey, yeah, the bad stuff happens. You can't do much about that, but you have to get the good. You have to follow the good. So I don't know. I'm a believer in Perrin's redemption.
Right. Someone that's having a lot of bad stuff happen, as we said, is Takoma. He goes again for a second time to Mothma to kind of make his point. That's when he brings Davos Koldon into this. And then Mothma has to go, or actually, yeah, like Mothma and Luther has this discussion, and Luther's like, he's been pestering the whole night. We gotta deal with this. We're gonna deal with it now. And Mothma, yeah, I'll talk with him next week. I'll find a price. You know the price. You know the number. We gotta take care of it. It's like, I don't know what you're saying. How nice of, how good for you or something. You don't understand. We gotta kill the guy. Don't you get it? And that's she kind of realizes and then gets drunk with a new Niamos wedding mix and goes.
I love that line when she's like, I don't know what you're saying, and
must be like, nice for you.
Yeah, must be nice for you. Oh
well, and again, the reality of this war, and we had. Here's what I love. Season 1, we had the amazing speech by Stellan Skarsgård as Luthen, right? Here, he was like, forget the speech.
Yeah.
One single line, and I'm going to kill all of you.
Yeah.
And I love that, because that's exactly right. He's like, you don't understand what we have to do. It's great that you have this money that you want to put into this effort. It's great that you believe in the cause, and it's great that you want to be against the Empire, but you need to understand the dark side of things. And like a character that we haven't seen yet, but we know we're seeing, like Saw Gerrera, the perfect example. He's the other extreme. He's like, it's only the bad stuff that we can do if we want to win, right? And there obviously has to be a middle ground, right? But I love that because Mon Mothma is learning. She's being like, I'm gonna have to get my hands dirty if I actually want to do this. This isn't just me being like blind to what's happening.
I will say, and this is, I know the books and the live action take over the book in terms of not what's canon, but in Reign of the Empire, Path of Fear, that first book, and I won't spoil everything, although it's been out for about 2 months now. Mon Mothma does kill someone in terms of keeping her vision of how you need to fight the Empire, and I guess Otis' team just scored a goal. Congratulations.
Yeah, Barca!
But so Mon Mothma knows about getting her hands dirty. Right? She killed someone who was going to kill someone very high up in the Empire, and I'll leave it there. But I think it's more, I don't think that Tony Gilroy knew about that. So this does come as a shock to Mon Mothma. They need to kill someone. I think if I want to take it as she did what happened on the book, and now years later this is happening, this is her friend. This is someone she's known for years. So maybe that realization is the one that's throwing her off, because she did, unfortunately, something very bad. Not very bad. She believed it was the right cause. But yeah, it was great to see her reaction to it. And then that leads to that, plus the reaction of her daughter. The only thing she could do at that point was just drown her sorrows, I guess, or the depression she was going through, and just dance it away. But the big thing is the ending. The Niamos mix. When
they gotta release that shit.
Yeah.
By the way, the Star Wars official YouTube dropped a 1-hour video of Mon Mothma dancing. A 1-hour video.
Yeah.
The official page.
So Cinta's back. We were wondering where she was, and she's the driver.
Say it, Tony. Say it.
Miss Belinda Chandrila.
So she came in. She won't take him to the TARDIS, even though it was a blue taxi. He's gone. He's dead. We'll see the ramifications the next week when it's been a year.
We will.
Maybe we'll see the egg.
No, but we'll see. But we know we'll see Cinta again, of course.
Oh,
yeah. I hope so.
And no, I love this whole right. First of all, having her in the same platform in 2 different shows as 2 very different characters, right? Yeah. Because if you were to say like Mundy Flynn, yeah, she was an Anglican warrior, like you know, we could kind of put that. But with Belinda, like, she's this nurse. She like loves life. She like wants to save people. She wants to help. And we know Cinta. Cinta's like, I'll do whatever I have to do in this rebellion. Yeah. You know, I don't care.
Yeah. All right. So let's jump to our third little storyline, this Cassian's predicament. He's in the Cyanar facility, testing facility. Again, another place that's been, if you read books on everything Star Wars, Cyanar is mentioned in every TIE fighter and Imperial Star Destroyer that's built comes from this place. So we're able to see it.
As the guy who never remembers his name, I just found out about this.
No, I remember that. And even the TIE Avenger that we see for the first time, like, that's from the video games.
Yeah. But I love that we have Cassian now giving the motivational speeches to someone that's defecting the Empire. Like, you're here. This makes it worth it. If we die, just this moment makes your life worth it. So it's great to see his kind of growth as a character so far.
By the way, I love that whole thing when she goes like telling him the story that they're gonna tell and being like, oh, and we basically hooked up, and he's like, oh yeah,
it's nice.
I like that.
We can do that part if you want.
We got a little polish droid next to the TIE Avenger. Reminded me of the
polish.
Yeah, we can make all the Doctor Who Star Wars connection. Dude, he's no Poe Dameron. I'm sorry. Poe would have gone out of there in 2 seconds. He couldn't get a crap out of there.
Yeah, but I do love the it's something that we've seen it in Rebels and we've seen it before. This rebellion kind of doesn't know what they're doing half of the time. They're just getting at it. Like with the resistance later on, like they're a little bit more. They're a guerrilla. They're actually like a band. Like they have Leia Organa leading them. They have an actual hierarchy. These people have no idea what they're doing. They're just like, we're gonna go steal the ship. Let's figure it out. And I love how pissed he gets at them later, being like, you didn't tell me anything that I need to know. But yeah, I love that scene. I love that that's our introduction to the character, because they could have easily made him a Poe Dameron style, right? He's in there, he's out, he's James Bond, right? But no, Cassian Andor is still kind of like a goofball sometimes. Like, you know, he doesn't really know what he's doing half of the time. He makes it up as he goes along.
Yeah. I'll tell you, when he lands in what now we know was Yavin, as we know by the ending, I thought he went to Canary when he landed, and we have all this forest planet. I'm like, oh my god, he's at Canary. But no, he goes to this weird planet at the moment, trying to find someone he's taking his ship to then drive away. And like you mentioned, Tony, at the beginning, it's like right now the rebellion, you don't know who's all the different rebel cells out there. They don't know each other, who's working for what. And now you have like 4 different rebels out there not knowing what's going on. Even that group, the Maya Pei, they don't know each other. They don't know what's going on. So I'll tell you that first scene when he landed there, and things start to go sideways for him. And before
I
we
was
get to
scared.
the rock, paper, scissors.
Him being like who's there? Where's this person? And slowly escalating, them fighting each other. They're hungry. They haven't eaten in weeks, days. I don't know. So I thought it was fun. It helped to show how disorganized this all is. Like everyone is trying to fight a fight, but you know they need to start coming together in order. And again, this happens where it happens. I think it's kind of symbolic. So I enjoyed that arc, that whole thing.
Yeah, it shows even though you need to keep those rebel cells separate in case one of them gets captured, you don't mess up the whole thing. Then you get situations like this that you have 2 groups. I mean, one group plus Classy, and basically on the same side, trying to do the same thing. But they don't know each other. They can't trust each other. He's dressed as an Imperial test pilot. His partner got too violent and had to be killed. He knows too much information about the Maya Pei Brigade and Maya Pei. How do you know all this? So this trust is not there. And also a great thing is how we're seeing all the different, how they're fighting the Empire in different ways. Like Mon Mothma is throwing this elaborate party because she needed Scott on her side. Cassian is in the middle of stealing an Imperial ship, and the other guys are just living off the ground, just all muddy, dirty, haven't eaten. And then at the end, you have the other group, Brazos and Biggs, in another planet, just trying to stay one step ahead. It's like all the different ways, from money to just scraping off life, trying to find the Empire, trying to make this rebellion work. And right now, like you mentioned, if they don't start getting together, which doesn't happen till the end of Rebels, basically, they won't be a menace to the Empire. But I love that scene between everyone there, the little infighting between the groups. Kind of funny, the characters just back talking each other. Oh, how do you know that? Oh, I had her boot with her feet still in there. So they're dead. Tony, did you enjoy this little scene leading to the let's play space rock paper scissors to figure out whatever they were trying to do at that point? I don't know.
I don't
just see who was gonna lead them. No, I mean I love that. I love just seeing these interactions. It reminded me, and you mentioning Rebels reminded me of when Ezra first encounters like the Saw Gerrera group, and he's like, "This is a completely different way to be a rebel than I'm used to," right? And I think Cassian sees that. He's like, "Wait, these are also rebels, but they lack the leadership, right? They lack that initiative to actually be a group, together. They're fighting each other, which is a very, it happens with rebellions a lot. It's a very normal thing. But I did like it. I love just them being kind of dumb and just like not really knowing what they're doing, which just shows that they are regular people who are trying to fight the Empire however they can. Even like Cassian having to be like, hey, it's not gonna rain forever, we should get some water. Like something's gonna happen later. But yeah, I did like that, and I love just Cassian understanding that he's just gonna have to bide his time and find a way out however he can.
Yeah, that scene about, hey, it's not gonna rain forever, you gotta store some water. And then, well, how do you know we haven't eaten in 2 days? Because you weren't here 3 days ago when I left.
Exactly.
So, how do you know about Maya Pay or something else? Oh, because this guy doesn't show his mouth and he told me what's going on. So I love seeing, again, the growth of that character. But then it all leads to, of course, the reveal of Yavin. We know we'll be back to this planet later on, so maybe we'll see what happens to those guys down there.
Mm-hmm.
I like the reveal. I was surprised. It was a good ending to that episode. But I love, like... Mm-hmm. No, the... Not kind of, I guess, beginning of the third episode, but when Cassian finally gets a hold of Clea, and he's like, oh, reporting, what's the weather report or whatever. And she's like, yeah, I love, like you mentioned, Tony, like, he's pissed, like, this isn't the ship I trained for, the drop zone is compromised, I've been upside down for 2 days, I can't call home, like, what the hell is going on? Oh, just hang on a minute, I'll find out. Screw this, I'm getting the hell out.
Give me a minute, I love that. I also love the whole, like, can I get a weather report for us, in space? No, I love that whole thing, and I love just Cassian being Cassian. He's like, I can I call home? And she's like, you can't call home. He's like, what do you mean I can't call home? Wait a minute, what? Forget the rest. Now I don't care that I've been upside down for 2 days. Now I need you to tell me what's going on in my place.
All right, Alti, so let's go to Mina Rao, this new harvest planet, very similar to the planet in what's that movie from
Rebel Moon?
Rebel Moon, thank you. The wheat planet from Rebel Moon. Yeah. They're working as mechanics, Biggs, Brasso, Salpak. The whole gang is our B2. But Biggs is still having nightmares about what happened with
gets tortured by the Empire once, and suddenly
you can't torture people anymore.
Jesus Christ.
Then you're scarred for life, who knew?
Wokeness.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Oh man, I was gonna say, just when Tony mentioned, okay, because this group doesn't know, in season 1 they didn't, the rebellion didn't know how to work together, how to things happen, and then the resistance, they kind of knew in once the resistance what they're doing. Like Trump in his first term, a bunch of idiots didn't know. They were prepared for term 2 with all their Project 2025 and killing everyone now, but separate. But anyway, Biggs, Brazos, Sal, B2, they're not living life. They're still refugees, basically. But they're living with a family. Brazos has a girlfriend. Sal is hitting on someone. Like, it's basically a normal life from where they left a year ago.
Yeah. They're doing their best.
Yeah, they're doing their best. But here comes the Empire, arrive for an inspection. It's not what you want to see, especially when they start talking about we need visas, who's illegal, who's legal. They're just working the farms, very in your face. Oti, your thoughts?
I think it's too in your face.
Right, was it too in your face, or did you were able to say, okay, this is Star Wars, it makes sense to what's going on right now?
Okay, so the game is tied. We're in overtime.
Penale.
And Barcelona just got a penalty. And I have no idea what's going on. What was the question?
Tony, let's go to you first.
No, what was the question? You guys have been talking for a while.
The whole thing about ICE going to get the people at Mina Rao.
The Empire acting like fascist government act? No, I did not think it was out of place. No, maybe the whole thing of the papers and illegals. Yeah, maybe that was like a wink and a nod at the real world. But I don't like. Yeah, that's what the Empire would be doing. And by the way, a super cool observation I did have on all episodes: very few aliens. That's something I think is maybe more Tony Gilroy related or Andor related, because in Andor we didn't get that many aliens in season 1. But I also think it works because since the Empire doesn't like aliens, then it makes sense they are like taking them away or hiding them. I don't know. So those are my thoughts on ICE in Star Wars.
I will say, Tony, if I give you a chance, there are plenty of aliens. When I made a point of it, when I did my rewatch, they might be in the background. There are almost every episode had aliens, and I made a point watching these first 3 episodes. There are aliens in Mon Mothma's wedding party. There are plenty of aliens there in the background, but I counted a few aliens almost in every scene that they made of the whole congregation out there. We got the giant beast in Mina Rao just eating
just
all
drinking
the hay.
water. Yeah. That was great.
And there was one when they have that long feast in their Thanksgiving dinner party before they all get annihilated. There was one alien there. But yeah, Tony, so they're living life. The Empire comes and hey, they're doing this random inspection. They're checking visas, checking who's illegal. And they're doing a census, sorry. But basically, the big thing is what happens with Biggs. It's what's been kind of overtaking social media now. Some very bad takes, of course. That's what happens in Star Wars fandom. Some others that I understand. But first, when the Empire comes there, it's like this creepy guy comes out. Hey, what are you doing? You want to go out to dinner? I know a place. Oh, your husband? Oh, my husband would approve. Oh, is he here? Is he off planet?
Yeah.
So a little bit creepy, a little bit off-putting. How did you feel for that scene as it builds up to, of course, the ending?
I mean, it was definitely jarring to see something like that in Star Wars, just because we've never really experienced something like that. But it speaks to just how real world Andor is and how real world Star Wars is becoming. And, I think a lot of people idealize what Star Wars is and just think of this as just, oh my God, look at this great world. They're fighting with lasers and, lightsabers, and a princess needs to get saved and all this sort of stuff. And yes, there is that. That's really what we should be taking away from Star Wars. It's the good stuff. It's the fantasy. It's the, good versus evil stuff. But that's really what Star Wars is about, good versus evil. And evil needs to be it needs to be shown at least in every way that we can. From Darth Vader choking out somebody in a board meeting just because they spoke ill about the Jedi, or to seeing a depiction of sexual assault in the world of Star Wars, especially when this Empire is relatively, well, not like super new, but it's still in its infancy, right? They're becoming the fascist of the world. Like, maybe when the Empire started, they would have been like, okay, I'm not going to do this. But at this point, they're the Empire. They run the world. They run the galaxy. So it makes sense that this is happening. And I always see people talk about like, oh, I would love to see a Star Wars underworld show and stuff like that. Then this is what would happen in that show. We'd be seeing strip clubs and, sex dens and, drug houses, because that's also the world. Think about Attack of the Clones may be super silly, but somebody tried to sell drugs to Obi-Wan Kenobi.
There's a strip club in Skeleton Crew when they land on Port Borgo. But
and Andor too in the first episode.
Yeah, so again, like, we need to accept this.
To Tony's point, there's something I've always liked in Star Wars, and I always try to say, like, the dark side of the Force isn't really just about dudes with red swords and cloaks. Like, it manifests in a lot of different ways, and this is just another way. Like, the Empire, beyond being fascist, beyond being, authoritarian and having a strong fist, it's also evil, like evil incarnate, and like Tony said, evil comes in many different ways.
So what was online, there were like 3 or 4 different points running through this week. There's one that I agree with, and it's people that say maybe this episode should have a bigger content warning before it started. Some people say should have something about, hey, the depiction of sexual assault might be difficult for certain viewers. And I understand for people that have unfortunately gone through that, if they would have preferred to see this is something we see in a lot of shows now. I saw a show on Apple TV, Disclosure, I think it's called. I think every episode had a disclaimer. Sorry, it's called Disclaimer. And they had a disclaimer at the beginning saying about sexual assault or depiction of suicide. There was letting people know, hey, what you're going to see is going to be rough. So understand for people that wanted to see that, I get that point. The other points that were made on social media was the one that I don't get is the one that you were saying, oh, the Empire wouldn't do this, or oh, Darth Vader wouldn't stand for this. Or
Darth Vader, the man who choked out his pregnant wife.
It was for, does this belong in Star Wars? And that goes to a point that you, Oti and Tom, were talking about. Yes, it belongs in Star Wars, especially in a story like Andor and Rogue One that we glorify for being this adult version of Star Wars. These things happen, and it's something that might happen in Star Wars universe. If we want to keep it PG-13, then we'll keep getting the stories we used to get. But then when it goes, would the Empire do this? Would Darth Vader stand for this? And unfortunately, freaking guy on Twitter that I blocked years ago, his voice, people keep putting his name there. But this, I think this is not just, oh, it's the Empire is bad, of course they'll do it. This is someone on the position of power will take advantage of someone underneath. There might be someone on the rebellion that does this. Someone that's higher up, and they want to take advantage. If it's a man taking advantage of a woman just to, hey, you're in trouble, and the only way you're going to get out if you give me something in return. This is something we've seen since I was born. We've seen this.
And something I just thought about too, we've seen inklings of this before in Star Wars, and now I'm thinking of like Drayden, Voss, and Kira in Solo.
Yeah,
I'm 99% sure he sexually assaulted her at some point in their relationship, and we kind of see that interaction with them in the ship, and like how he's very obsessive about her and controlling with her. So, and of course they're mafiosos, like you can expect that, but so you can expect that from the Empire too.
I just want to say, like, I don't mind people having that conversation. Like, you could question this have a place in Star Wars. Like, I can see a point where someone could say, like, no, it doesn't. But that was my conversation. Don't be like, Darth Vader would not stand for this. Like, maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't, but he's not there. So, like, Darth Vader has no idea who this guy is.
He's coming from Mustafar. Oh, I heard that this is going on. We gotta stop.
It's not like Vader is vetting every single Imperial officer. So, I don't mind people having the conversation. Just be like normal about it, I guess.
It's the internet. But of course, Biggs, being a badass, bashes his brain in with a wrench or a hammer. I don't know what the hell was. Freaking destroys him, and then kills the other guy when he basically doesn't help her out when she said that she almost got raped. But then Cassian comes in, shoots down everyone. Before Brazos died, he gets stopped. And sorry, I buried the lead. But that conversation he had with
Brazos dead. In the Chiron below the show. Yeah. Breaking news: Brasso dead.
But we'll finish up with there. I didn't expect it. I didn't think Brasso was gonna die so early. I thought he was gonna make it. I'm very sad.
I think I agree with you guys. I thought he was gonna make it. I thought we'd see more, but I think back to that line of Andor in Rogue One. I've been part of this rebellion since I was 6 years old. I've lost more than I can count. And I think Cassian needs to keep losing now, right? He's winning as part of the rebellion, but he's losing part of himself to this. He lost Marva. He lost his homeworld, or what was his homeworld of Ferrix, right? He lost his sister, which again, something that I don't think has come back at all since season 1. So he definitely lost B2 because he left him behind. What a dick. But yeah, like he has to lose. He might be winning the battle, but he's losing himself along the way,
Oti, your thoughts on B2 being left behind? I saw you
Dude,
had some.
I was devastated. Like B2's the dog, and
Yeah.
I went on a whole rant with Tony, and I was being like, he left B2 in Ferrix, even when B2 begged him to stay. Of course, he had to leave. Then he makes him wait like a year to come back. Then they're finally all together. They're on the run. Life isn't easy. But B2 is happy. He's happy to have a family with him. And now they have this plan that does not include him. And they're like, buddy, you need to stay behind. Yes, he's slow, but he's part of the family. He had to stay. And they leave him in this farm with this very nice lady. I'm sure he's going to have a ton of fun. But they leave and they're not like, wait, we got to get our boy. We got to get our boy. They did not do that, and I was devastated. I am not happy with this. I really hope they come back for him at some point.
They left
There's
him
a
with
revolution
Alia.
to fight, but come on.
I think Cassian doesn't like B2 that much.
I think the same thing. Screw
Just leave
you,
him
man.
behind, just shut up.
He
Yeah.
left him Marva, and it was like, protect her. Marva dies. That's on B2 now. And now you leave him with that nice lady and that nice...
He's always thinking, how
I'm
will
glad
Cassian
you
find
died,
us?
Andor. I'm glad you died.
It's like, how will Cassian find us? He doesn't know where you're going. Like, he cares about him. Maybe he doesn't. Don't put him on K2. He doesn't deserve K2 to be B2
B2
now.
deserves...
No.
I'm
Well,
glad
yeah,
you
I
put
mean,
that
again, that's
nicely.
what everybody's saying. Let's put B2 into K2 now. But
No.
what I told Doti is like, K2 is just Cassian's guilt now. He's like, I left one droid, I'm not leaving another one behind. So, I gotta save this Alan Tudyk guy, whoever he is.
K2
he died anyways.
SO B2
B2M MO?
B2MO? B2 emo, right?
B2 emo, yeah.
EMO.
EMO.
Who cares? Cassian
I
doesn't.
care.
Who cares?
I
But
care.
before we move on, I did want to say I love that we do start Bix's arc with that whole PTSD thing and her nightmare and everything that's happening, but that doesn't stop her from defending herself in the end, because you could have easily done that, right? Just have her, be shell-shocked about this and not be able to control it, but she's a badass. She really is this, like...
Dude, she's Puerto Rican. We're traumatized, but
So
we're
true.
functional about it.
But we'll fuck shit up.
Yeah. We'll bury it in and bash someone else. And I think this will then push her to where we see her in the trailers being part of the rebellion, helping Cassian blow buildings up and all this. I think she's like, don't leave me behind again. I gotta do something. I gotta be in the front lines, taking the fight to the Empire. So real quick, Oti, final thoughts on the first arc. I enjoyed them. I'm not jumping on a rooftop saying this is the best thing Star Wars has ever done. I know people that watched the whole series are going that far. People that watched the first episode at Celebration, which I know is a different atmosphere, where we're back. This is right where we left off. I enjoy them. Like you mentioned, it's similar to that first arc in season 1. It's like, okay, we know where the player's at. Now let's get to the meat of it. I'm at that point now. I enjoyed it. I'm not kind of frothing at the mouth right now.
Alberto needs to clarify this about every single show. I liked it. It's not my favorite thing in the whole wide world. Like, by the way, your same thoughts with season 1 were those. Like, I liked it. I just didn't think, and I think the same thing. I like it. It's a show. I'm glad it's back. I'm glad it's as great as it was when it first came around. I love that people love it and are like, oh, Tony Gilroy should be doing it. Good for you. I don't think so, but good for you. So yeah, I'm excited for next week and see how this story continues to evolve into that movie right there, Rogue One.
I'm just glad Genevieve O'Reilly gets a chance to
And
bring
that
it
is
back.
what this is about.
You know, Andor dies. I don't care. We know that. But Mon Mothma will be our chancellor. So, you know what I mean?
No. And she will lead the rebellion. So.
And she will lose all her fancy dresses and have a nightgown.
And Otia and I talk about this all the time. It's crazy. It's just being like, hey, we're going to have to cut your scene in Revenge of the Sith. We're very sorry. To you are now going to star in this amazing show that's going to change the core of this character. A character that, for the most part, was a piece in the background in Return of the Jedi. You know what I mean? Like, the only other woman in the galaxy, right here.
Many Vulcans died getting us this information. That's the only thing we remember about Mon Mothma.
But no, I love that. But yeah, I think I'm just glad to be back in this world and experience something in Star Wars that is just so different. You know, it's Born Identity in Star Wars, you know. Shout out to Tony Gilroy.
All right, so in 3 days, if I'm making my math correctly, we'll get the next 3 episodes and we'll see when this story goes. Like we mentioned before, it'll be a 1 year jump to catch up on the characters now. So, all right, so let's take a couple of minutes to talk about something that's not Star Wars in a world between fandoms. Okay, I know you just said that I have to clarify for every Star Wars episode, every Star Wars show, if I loved it or liked it or whatever. So I'm gonna talk now about an episode that it's one of the greatest episodes I've seen of TV in a long, long time, and it was The Last of Us episode 2.
It wasn't The
Through
Well.
the Valley. The Well was great.
Through the Valley was a week ago.
It's been months.
I've known that was gonna happen for like 5 years.
Well, good
Let's
for
talk
you.
about The Well. I'm joking.
Dude, this is something. I haven't done this in a while. I'm gonna have to cut the offer. No, but no, seriously.
The Well.
All right, you're gone now. You're gone too for laughing about that.
It was just funny. Okay, Through the Valley. Let's talk about it. No, that was.
Go. I want to know your thoughts. Go.
No, again, as someone that hasn't played the game, I expected Joel to die at some point during this season. Okay. It's what everyone's been saying. Like, oh, if game 2, you gotta be ready. If season 2 is about like game 2, you gotta be ready for what's coming. So I was expecting it to happen at some point. I thought it was going to be this glorious sacrifice at the end of the season or something.
Inciting incident, baby.
But not just that. It's
like
the whole episode. The whole freaking episode since the avalanche starts and all the zombies start coming off the snow. And then you have that chase through the snow. They're preparing their city just in case something happens because there were rumors that some of them were hiding through the snow. There might be more. And then Abby, when she reaches this place and then the whole fence starts coming down, of course, Joel is the one that saves her. And you're like, oh, crap. Okay,
fence scene.
It was jump scare at that moment.
And I know you haven't played the video game, but that's like pulled straight.
No, but I love it because that's one of the iconic moments in the game, like that fence scene. And I thought it was, and I've played that like 5 times already. And when it happened, I think it felt even more intense than in the game because like they keep dropping on her. I was like,
yeah. And you feel that pressure of that moment right there.
I was like, Abby's not gonna get to kill Joel.
And again, watch it.
Very different from the game. At that point in the game, we still don't have any idea who this person is or any motivations. In the show, at least, you kind of know where she's coming from or at least like what her intentions really are. So it just does change things, because in the game you were like, I'm just trying to survive right now.
Yeah, that part, and then you have Tommy trying to protect the city. I thought he was there. I love the character. I loved him in season 1. Right now in season 2, Tommy's becoming one of my favorite. I thought him or his wife were gonna eat it when that the bloater comes out and he's looking at what. Oh my god, what's gonna happen? Well, that whole attack, that wall in Game of Thrones attack. But no, just all in all, I loved the whole episode. It was intense from the beginning. When he saved Abby, I'm like, okay, so maybe he takes it back to their city. It will be later on. She will bring her people in. But when she said, oh, this is, I forgot the name of the other girl, and this is Joel, and then they pull out their guns, Dina. I'm like, oh crap, is it gonna go down now? I'm like, okay, but Ellie and the other guy are coming. Maybe one of them is gonna show up, and then Ellie shows up. Okay, they're gonna save her. No, you're screwed, and the other guy doesn't show. Oh my god! It's like second episode, and this is happening. Is Tommy going to die? Is the whole town gonna fail? Again, great episode. Edge of the seats in it started, and I don't know what's gonna happen now. So
now we got a story. Now we got a story. This is, as a Last of Us fan, since the show got announced and they announced Pedro Pascal as Joel, this was my big question. How the hell are they gonna kill Pedro Pascal in this show? Knowing how much people love him, knowing how big an actor he is, and knowing how much of the story is left, because as Tony and I talk on the show all the time, this is a very long story. This is a very dense story, and so much so that one of the big changes in the show, I mentioned it in last week, the show started a day before the game. Before the game starts, so like this is literally one of the first things that happens in the game, and there's so much more left still. And if you only watch the show for Pedro Pascal, good news, he's gonna keep showing up. Joel has still a big part in the story. There's 5 years between where we left and where this started, so there's 5 years
that we still go back to and still learn about.
Yeah, it's 5 years worth of not just flashbacks, very important flashbacks. So I think that's like the good, and he's in the trailer, so people know he's gonna come back in some way, shape, or form. So I love how they pulled it off. They added some other things, like the whole attack on Jackson that doesn't happen in the game. So and also Joel is with Tommy, not with Dina, which is something that rubbed people.
I heard that some people didn't like the change.
There's a sex scene between Dina and Ellie in the game, which is cut out basically, and I still don't really know why. I think they want to give Dina and Joel more of a relationship. They started doing that last week, but yeah, we'll see. I don't think they're gonna cut that relationship per se and that moment off the story. I think it will come later on. But yeah, I was very happy on how it all played out, and now you know what I've been living with. Oh, and something else. This story, this is something I did last season, Alberto. It's gonna get worse. Like this isn't the worst thing. This is a descent into madness by Ellie. A complete descent into madness.
I mean, I just love her little. Of course, I'm gonna kill y'all, and then in the little clip for next week, it's like Dina knows their names. Like she saw the little wolf sign, so like they have something now to fall on. Tomorrow we'll figure out tomorrow, and that's one thing. It's like, man, it reached this height. Can the rest of the season live up to it, or will it just be a drop off?
You have no idea.
it had because I want to talk about it. The game was Last Jedi divisive, and it had a very similar effect to Luke throwing the lightsaber. A lot of people checked out at that point. So I love what comes next. I love how the story evolves and where it takes us. It takes us to places I did not expect when playing it the first time, but I do love it. A lot of people hate it. I don't care, and I'm excited to see it play out again.
All right, so let's change to something a little bit more bright and more colorful and more happy. Doctor Who,
Bluey. Sorry,
not being the brightest one. The Well, aka Midnight Part 2. Dude, I've told you how I love my Doctor Who episode that take place just in a space station or a ship, just in one concentrated space. So I'm like, okay, this episode is built for me. It was going great. And when they made the midnight connection, I'm like, this is my favorite one so far. My favorite ones of the whole shooting out. Well, we'll see. But man, I love it. It's Doctor Who. It's everything. Just love everything about this episode. The little campiness about it as they're going to this planet. Oh, who's your commanding officer? Oh, so and so. Oh, so I unwrap them. And then everything goes on. So, Tony, let's get your thoughts real quick on Doctor Who. For you guys who don't know, Oti and Tony have their own Doctor Who podcast. You want to plug that in? This is a perfect time.
No, actually, no, I don't want to plug it. The Bat Wolf broadcast every Tuesday. We talk about Doctor Who as long as Doctor Who is on the air because it hasn't been renewed.
I know what's gonna happen.
Yes. So Batwolf broadcast, definitely check that out. We'll be talking about The Well very soon. But no, it was an amazing episode. I thought it was really, really great, even without the connection to Midnight and how they got there. Like it gave me those like Impossible Planet vibes and like 42 vibes and like just all these really great space station episodes in Doctor Who. Chuti and Belinda's relationship just keep growing right within the show and within their own arcs. And I thought it was great. I thought it was amazing. I loved how it was Doctor Who funny and quirky, but it was kind of like horror-y too, and it had that suspense and the whole like what's in my back thing. Like I thought it was great. I thought it was amazing, and just Russell T just unapologetically being like, I'll do whatever I want. Like, if I want to make another episode about something I did 20 years ago, I'm gonna do it.
When they started making the midnight connection, I wish we got a scene of one of them just repeating the other one, trying to copy them, just to kind of bring it home a little bit more. But when I was watching it with my wife, she saw part of it. She's like, this is better than the last Aliens movie. So, we had that horror vibe. Was pretty cool when they do it in Doctor Who. But Oti, for you, quick thoughts on The Well and everything happened. The monster is still alive, and Mrs. Flood was at the end as the leader of this.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, no, I love that. I love a good Doctor Who space station episode. So as you guys mentioned, like without the midnight connection, I would have still loved it. Again, the horror. I love when Doctor Who dives into horror elements. I think they don't do it enough, and it's great when they do it. But dude, I literally screamed when they revealed it. I just could not, because I loved it because I don't think it ruined anything from Midnight. I thought it was also great on its 2 feet. And Midnight is one of those episodes that I love because you never find out what happened. Yeah. It's just something that happens on a train and the Doctor has to move on, which is very hard for him. So bringing it back is tough because you could explain too much and ruin it. Oh, damn it, offside. So yeah, no, I was very happy with what they did and how it all connected back to that episode. I love it wasn't the same gimmick of they tried something different, and I thought it worked great.
Yeah, we still don't know how the monster works. It's still out there. It will maybe come back in 20 years. I think the big lesson is stop digging to the center of the planet. There's no reason. Every time they go to the center of the planet, there's Satan's there waiting on the sun or wherever it was. Then we have these monsters here. Stop drilling.
I wish that happens to the Empire in Gorman. I wish they just dig and then a devil comes out.
I wish that's not. I mean, in a way, the devil comes out to kill everyone.
Yeah. I do think. Do we think this has an attachment to the pantheon of the gods? Like, could this be like another one of these high-level villains?
That would ruin it.
That's what I was thinking. It was like, because that's what I thought it was gonna be like when he keeps asking, "Who are you? Who are you? Oh, you know my name. This is bad." You know.
I wish it's just like Midnight cannot be a one-off.
Yeah.
There are things that will
Mhm.
connect for going forward, especially with Mrs. Flood asking if he brought his little, looks like a flying V guitar and put on the floor to just connect to everything.
I love that we never see it, by the way. And
yeah,
something
just a
very-
little shadow.
something very cool. The escape pod. If you looked at the screen, it showed 4 people in it, but you could only see 3. So that I thought that was
Oh.
brilliant.
I saw that
Oh,
4. I
that's
didn't
great.
connect it. There were 3 inside. All right, so we'll leave it there.
Great
Great
Doctor
show.
Who episode.
Great Doctor Who episode. This season so far, it's been
Good.
pretty good. I hope it keeps up going that way.
Hope they don't
Alright, so-
cancel it.
We won't talk about that for now. So thanks to everyone who joined us. Thanks, Tony, for being here. Thank you.
Thank you guys for having me.
I won't be here next week. I will be with Tony, but
And I won't be here next week either, but
You'll be with Oti, so that's fine. We'll have a special guest join us next week, a special co-host, and we'll have a bunch of new people, not new people, more people coming to join us
Young
for
people.
Andor recaps.
young people.
Young people, younger than me. And then next week is also May 4th and the return of Tales of. So the new animated series drops on May 4th. So Oti, you'll
true.
let me know your thoughts in 2 weeks. But
Yes.
thanks to everyone that joined us today. Thank you, Oti. Thank you, Tony. Stay safe.
Yes.
Be safe. Sagrona
gonna
Teema,
go watch
everyone.
Revenge of the
Yes.
Sith. Whoop.
Next week,
Yeah.
go watch it.